Good afternoon and welcome inside the booth here at Saul Goodman Field for a home opener between your Tufts University Jumbos and the Brandeis University Judges. And as we look out here on the Gittleman Field, we'll remember what happened last year when these two teams opened up their campaigns against each other. And for lack of a better term, the Jumbos played judge, jury, and executioner on the judges' hopes, massacring them 26 to 5 in the largest win in the history of Saul Goodman Field. The judges looking for some revenge today. The Jumbos looking for quite yet another great start of their season. I'm Riley, joined here by Nick Dorr and Matthew Long. And Nick, I'll go right to you as we take a look. What can we look at with this Jumbos team and what they've lost in the offseason?
Yeah, this Jumbo's team definitely has lost players, which is going to be definitely a problem for this squad, and especially losing some of the different seniors and losing players who were much more influential or losing players who transferred. For example, Malachi Pena, a freshman who started last year, losing Gavin Brown, transferred to Duke, losing Jackson Raydell, transferring to Amherst, among others.
We're going to step aside momentarily. Stay with us. Welcome back here to Medford, Nick. I'll now ask you the question that I told you about in the pregame as we get set here. We have a lovely graphic for it. Why don't you walk us through this Brandeis lineup that they'll be facing off against the Jumbos today?
Yeah, so hitting first for Brandeis will be Connor Crowley. Second will be Ben Kuja. Third, bit of a star player for Brandeis, Eddie Zahner. Fourth, Henry Ehrenwald. Fifth, Jake Freed. Sixth, Keith Lee. Seventh, Dylan Walsh. Eighth, Danny Tambaskia. And ninth, Mono Bootsakakis.
Zaner doing the rare thing that you do see a good amount at the D3 level, hitting and pitching. On the other side for the Jumbos, Matt, why don't you walk us through that defense?
Yeah, Riley will be excited to see Emmett Christian get the bump for the home opener. The freshman is 6'3", 205 out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He played a summer ball for TPA Nationals. And this kid was up to 90 miles an hour at a showcase in 2023, so he will be humming on the bump today. His battery mate is Connor Brawla, who in limited appearances last year posted a 1.056 slug. So we'll be excited to see what he can put on the table, put on display for us today behind the dish. Around the horn, starting at first base, we've got Cooper Smith, Jesse McCullough, and Ozzie Fleischer up the middle. Fleischer, a NESCAC Defensive Player of the Year in 2023 and a captain of this ball club. And then at third base, freshman James Henshin stands at 6'4", 195, a local kid from Roxbury, Latin. We'll be interested to follow how Cooper Smith and James Henshin fare at the corner of the diamond as they both came in to the season listed as outfielders. From left to right in the outfield, Ben Leonard and Henry Fleckner are senior presences, and Owen McKieran is a junior in right field.
Yeah, with McKiernan in right field, gives a little bit of youth to that outfield, but up the middle, there is a good amount of experience with McCullough, Fleischer, and Fleckner. And Henry Fleckner, Nick, someone who can just range across that outfield.
Yeah, definitely. Fleckner, not only an effective player in the outfield, also an effective player on the field, plays wide receiver, and was one of the starting receivers for our quarterback, Michael Berluti, this season. Played an effective season, now looking to transfer that effectiveness here onto Saul Goodman Field.
Umpires confirming that we are all good to go, and it'll be Connor Crowley to step in to open things off in the 2025 campaign for your Jumbos. First pitch misses just outside.
Already interesting to see Emmett Christian going with the backdoor slider to kick off the season. This is a kid who throws pretty hard for the D3 level, so we'll be interested to see whether he relies on the off speed.
That time goes to a fastball, grounded to second, and an easy out there for McCullough.
Must be noted for this Brandeis squad that they have started their season already. Unlike the Jumbos, the Brandeis judges right now 2-4. Their most recent game was a matchup against the Trinity Bantams just last night. They took a loss 6-7, and obviously have not started conference play. They'll look to change the script coming here.
Definitely a goal for them. This is the moment last year where they really started to struggle a little bit, especially offensively, as that one hit well into left, but it'll hang up for Leonard for out number 2.
One thing that all coaches will emphasize, and I assume new skipper for the Jumbos, Brian Stark, is no different, is quick pitch decisions. So you gotta love the freshman, Emmett Christian, getting 2 decisions, 2 outs in just 3 pitches. Efficient start to the Jumbo season.
Could not agree more, Matt. And this is the hitter you were talking about, Nick. Zanor up at the plate.
Had a spectacular game last night against the Bantams. Had 3 hits, a home run, and 5 RBIs in not that many at bats. Also, a pitcher, as we mentioned, pitched 3 innings against Barry. They took a loss, but it was a good game for the judges as well. And the kid definitely can hit last season. Had a slugging percentage of .458 and an on-base percentage of .395. Definitely an effective offensive player.
Christian looking at his wrist, getting the call from Brawla as he gets set here for the 1-1. Went back to that slider, Matt, but couldn't locate it.
Yeah, he's liking that pitch. We've yet to see it land for a strike, but nice confidence out of the freshman, trying to establish the off speed early.
2-1 just downstairs for ball 3.
Umpires for today's game behind the plate, we have Michael Hinajosa calling balls and strikes, and at first base, Mike Sadowski. It's a double mic umpiring crew.
Wish we got them mic'd up.
That was terrible.
That one hit well. Nice job staying behind it from McCullough, and a 1-2-3 first for the freshman. I mean, Matt, really can't ask for anything better if you're head coach Brian Stark.
Yeah, very clean inning from the freshman, Emmett Christian. We'll be curious to see if they keep him in to try to have a full form starter, whether that was more of a quasi opener type situation, but can't ask for much more from the young kid. He's got to be happy. Not sure if his parents are in attendance, but can assure you they're at least eagerly watching the stream back home. So shout out mom and dad.
And Nick, speaking of Brian Stark, a new face on the bench for the Jumbos this year. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, Brian Stark was hired in August of 2024, formerly the associate head coach at Harvard University for the last 10 years, 2014 to 2024. Before that, assistant coach at the Naval Academy up to 2014, coached 6 MLB draftees at Harvard, helped out with the Orioles, along with others, named manager of the Future Collegiate Baseball League Manager of the Year in 2014. A skipper that, in theory, definitely knows what he's doing and takes over a pretty competent Jumbo squad, hopefully to carry them maybe further or to more success than they had last year.
And the first decision he had to make as head coach in a real game was his starting lineup today. Let's take a look at that. Matt.
Leading off, we have Leonard, followed by Pavlik, Henshin, Smith, Fleckner, McKieran, Bralla, Fleischer, McCullough in the 9-hole. Things will be noticing that third baseman, James Henshin, in the 3-hole. A lot of confidence in this young kid Brian Stark is placing in him. Another guy we're watching is Colin Bralla. He came in kind of as a platoon guy for the off days of the everyday starting catcher, but in only 7 starts, he was able to put together a slash line of 3.41. That's right, that slugging was up over 1 dot, which you don't usually see. In just 18 at bats, he had 4 home runs. So whether he'll be able to continue that success he had in a small sample size last year is something we'll be eagerly keeping an eye on, as he likely does more of the work behind the plate with the injury to Malcolm Whitfield.
Speaking of small sample sizes, we've seen a little bit from this Brandeis team, Nick, but what can you tell us about their defense today?
Yeah, the Brandeis defense around the horn in the pitching spot, as we mentioned, Eddie Zanor. In the catcher spot is Keith Lee. Keith Lee, my apologies. And then in the first base is Danny Tambaskia. Playing second is Dylan Walsh. Playing shortstop is Mono Butsikakis. And then playing third is Ben Kuja. In the outfield from left to right, starting with left field, Henry Ehrenwald. In center field, Connor Crowley. And then in right field, it is Jake Freed.
Crowley and Freed both started here in the matchup a year ago, which the judges were on the wrong side of. In his usual spot, leading off will be Ben Leonard, lefty-lefty matchup to lead off the bottom of the first. Zanor fires that one in there. Apparently a little bit low. Looks pretty good from up here. That one way outside for ball 1.
Leonard coming off a slightly down 2024 campaign. I think he himself would admit that. He started 27 games, slashed 220, 419, 308. Did have 1 bomb and 13 RBIs.
Swings that one well, but comfortably handled, and an easy out recorded by Walsh.
But yeah, Leonard did post better numbers in his previous 2 seasons, so the Bows will be eagerly hoping that that senior can provide a little more oomph with the bat in the leadoff spot, because they really like him there.
Talking about people the Jumbos are hoping for a little more oomph from, Max Pavlik only appeared in 4 games a year ago, but here he is in the 2 spot today. And chases at that one, fouling it into the screen for strike 1. Fooled him with the off speed. Nice pitch there from Zanor. A little bit of arm side run there, Matt, on that pitch.
Yeah, it looked like a changeup just missed outside.
The 1-2 stays middle, flared into shallow right field, and that'll hang up in the end for Freed. 2 down. And Nick, almost eerily reminiscent of the top half of the inning, where a lot of weak contact right at infielders and outfielders.
Yeah, James Henshin coming up to bat, the freshman from Wellesley, Massachusetts. Definitely hoping to change that and at least get something on the board for the Jumbos.
In this game a year ago, as Henshin fouls that one out of play, Jumbo scored in the first 7 innings of the game, scoring 25 of their 26 runs. And just really, after having scored 18 in the first 4, had the game put away.
Yeah, this is definitely a judges squad that knows the ruling might be coming, but is definitely going to try and postpone it as long as they can. and hope to get themselves into the game. They tend to be a team that plays, as we've seen this season, a little bit better in the back half of games, scoring well against Trinity in the back half, scoring well against Barry in the back half, scoring well in their loss against Oglethorpe in the back half as well. So I think they're an engine that just starts to need to rev and get going, and they're going to wait for that and see if they can just hold off the Jumbos coming down on the score hard.
1-2 is fouled off, and a really good job hitting with 2 strikes from the freshman.
Yeah, good work there. You could see number 19 shortening up his swing. A mature and seasoned approach for a kid who this is his first collegiate at bat.
Almost made it work, but a diving play to pick that one from Walsh.
That was a good little dive there out at second base for Walsh. Just goes in between, manages to get down. Not a lot of effort put into it, but just effort enough that it looked good. And we stay scoreless out of the first inning.
We do, and I think, Nick, it's a good time now to take a look at what this Jumbos team lost over the course of the offseason. And I think, given how good of a start we saw from Emmett Christian in that first inning, let's look at the starter and the one who went to Duke and Gavin Brown.
Yeah, Gavin Brown, obviously super effective for the Jumbos in the past, and definitely a player that will be sorely missed for the Jumbos. In 2024, he pitched a 3.67 ERA, had 43 strikes in 41 innings, had 7 starts, 9 total appearances. He is a big loss for the Jumbos. They're going to be struggling to make it up, especially because of other transfers where they're not only losing defensive, they're losing offensive as well, and that's going to prove problematic potentially for this Jumbo squad.
It definitely could, but on the other side, Matt, they have a very talented freshman class led by Henshin. What have you heard about this kid who has proven enough to the head coach to get the starting nod on day one?
Yeah, rare. I mean, you'll see a freshman get the ball for the home opener of the season, but this kid definitely has the accolades coming in. He's 6'4", 195. He was a letter winner in both baseball and basketball from the Foxes of Roxbury Latin, which is not too far from Medford, Mass. He was an all ISL baseball player in his junior and senior year of high school, and had it humming up to 90. So I've heard at a Perfect Game Showcase just a year ago. So
It'll be Henry Ehrenwald to lead things off for the judges in the second.
And there we were talking about how he was kind of failing to land that first pitch slider. Now to a righty, he does paint it just on the outside corner and gets the first pitch strike call.
The 0-1. Fastball downstairs for ball one.
Yeah, that outside corner is definitely an effective spot if pitchers can find it. That one drops just a little outside of it.
That one's sent into the parking lot and all the way up onto the street.
I think we say this every game, but I fear for the cars parking in that parking lot. I've seen a couple cars get hit already just off of foul balls.
Well, that can check off my corner square on the bingo card because Nick mentioned the parking lot. The 1-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3.
And not sure we have the D3 budget for it, but toss that ball into the dugout if we can. That's his first K of his collegiate career.
It was, and what a pitch there. The off-speed stuff, Matt, had him fooled.
Yeah, it's a sharp, tight slider that plays really nicely. It looks like it's tunneling well out of the same arm slot as that hard fastball. Really tough to pick up from a right-handed hitter.
That one upstairs, ball one to Jake Freed, the right fielder, in the 5-hole. That one grounded foul down the right field line. And it'll run the count to 1-2. Excuse me, my apologies. That was strike 1.
Jake Freed, a grad student for this squad, transferred from Oberlin College. At Oberlin, had a total career batting average of .305, played 63 games, starting 60. Also a typical D3 player, pitched a bunch of innings in a bunch of random games. In 2021, pitching an inning against Hobart, or against Case Western. And
That
that
one hit
ball,
well, but it's going to hang up for Ben Leonard.
yeah, that ball goes wide there. Not the start Freed would necessarily have wanted in this game, but potentially a lot of baseball left for him to show that him transferring here was a good decision.
Yeah, for Freed, playing at Brandeis, one of the rare D3 schools where you have that option to have a grad year, allows him to get another year of baseball. All of these grad students would have graduated normally in 2024, but lost out on a season of baseball in 2021 due to the pandemic and are taking advantage of their grad year. Among them, Ozzie Fleischer out at short has really used it to embrace his role as the captain and leader of this team.
Yeah, Ozzy, not only a super good dude, but also a super impactful leader on this squad. And definitely someone we saw had a super impactful role last year and will look to continue that role, both from an actual gameplay point of view and a leadership point of view as well.
Stepping up to the plate now is Keith Lee. It's a freshman-freshman matchup. He's doing the catching today for the Brandeis Judges. On the year thus far, again, small sample size for Lee. He's slashing 1-2-3, posting a 143 average. But again, that's just 2 hits and 14 at-bats, so plenty of time to prove himself as the freshman. Cool to see Christian and Lee go at it in their first collegiate seasons.
Just downstairs from Christian, ball 1 to Lee.
Lee in high school played not only baseball, also played football and a year of varsity winter track shot put, just, to keep it diverse.
The 1-2 upstairs. Well, I will say I'm not no D3 pitcher. I did also use the shot put in the winter to keep my arm strong and fresh for baseball season. But I unfortunately am 5'5", so I wasn't going to play D3 baseball.
I think the routines for these guys are becoming more and more ridiculous. It's kind of a staple for the bullpens to have a plyo wall for guys to throw against, but now they're using water jugs and footballs and all sorts of things. It's interesting to see. I mean, I sound like an old head right now, but to see the direction that
Just a
the
bit.
game has gone.
Lee has worked the count back to 3-2. We'll see what the payoff pitch provides. He sets and fires downstairs, and Lee came all the way back to work the walk.
Boy, did Christian want that. I mean, you could see his body language. He wanted that second career K. Brawla tried to pull it up. It's tough shoes to fill. Malcolm Whitfield last year was NESCAC Defensive Player of the Year, was just about as good of a backstop as one could be in Division III athletics. And a big part of that is pitch framing. But Brawla couldn't quite fool the home plate umpire on that one. Couldn't get the strike call.
Walsh takes ball 1 inside. We saw Walsh with that nice defensive play in the bottom of the first keep the Jumbos off the base paths.
Dylan Walsh from about 3 miles from here, Arlington, Massachusetts. Not super far. Definitely didn't necessarily go very far either. Brandeis obviously not super far from Medford either. And had a decent last season. Hit 230, a 279 slugging percentage, 331 on base. Now trying to prove to be more effective against the Jumbos.
And after a really good start to this inning, Christian has lost the strike zone 6 consecutive balls here. Looks in and fires. That one's a strike, and it's fouled off to stay alive from Walsh.
Yeah, whenever you see a guy in high school that's up in that 90-mile-an-hour range commit to a D3 program, you kind of wonder what the asterisk there is. Maybe for Christian it is his command, so hopefully he's able to dial that in as he moves forward in this game.
The 2-1 downstairs. Now run the count 3-1.
Admittedly, other things do provide other reasons, such as academics and things like that. However, yes, you might be right on the if you're pitching that fast, potentially is there a reason why you're not going to play or have the chance at least to play for a D1 program as Christian tries to pick there but doesn't get it.
It's a good point, Nick. Christian said going into this season that he chose Tufts for its strong biomedical engineering program and the chance to play high-level competition at the D3 level.
Well, he's got a chance right here, the 3-1. Catches the outside corner to run the count full.
Yeah, he finally gets that call. He wasn't getting it in the first inning on the outside corner, so Good work by Brawla working around that pitch, buying a strike for his freshman battery mate.
Lee will be off on the pitch here. And Christian knew it, checked on him.
One thing you really like to see is even on that pickoff play, everyone, even the left fielder, Ben Leonard, is moving. A well-oiled machine is a good baseball team moving on a pickoff.
Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. The second K of the inning gets Christian out of it. And after walking one, he gets out of another inning unscathed. 2 scoreless from the freshman.
Yeah, I really like what we're seeing from Emmett Christian. Thus far, both teams hitless. See if the Bows can break that trend as the heart of our order comes up to the plate in the bottom of the second.
Welcome back here to Medford. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for the Bows as Cooper Smith leads things off here in the bottom of the second. Still hitless through an inning and a half of this opener. Zenor looks in and steps off. And I believe there was a pitch clock violation on the pitcher. Umpire's going to discuss it. The first base ump pointed to his wrist and then pointed to the pitcher. And not getting any information up here.
Looking like it was just a warning, I think. Not sure exactly how they adjudicated that one.
Smith not needing a warning. That one hit well down the right field line. Will it stay fair? No, it drifts foul into the parking lot.
Unfortunate for Smith there. That ball drops outside.
One classic thing, every time you see a ball fly into that parking lot, you hear the dugout bark out, freshman on it, and Landon Megg quickly runs out to grab that ball from the parking lot.
So does that explain why Brian Stark recruited 9 freshmen? He needed people to alternate?
I'm just saying everyone plays a role in this well-oiled machine that is Jumbo Baseball. We've got 2 guys trotting out there to pick up that ball from the parking lot.
Smith got fooled. He was looking fastball. That was not what that pitch was. Zenor looks in. The 1-2. Downstairs for ball 2.
You know, I will say it is nice to be in the box right now. It does look a little windy out there.
Gusts up to 30 miles an hour today could pose problems for outfielders. And Smith, with a very risky take, got away with it.
Smith starting the game at first base today after playing outfield for the rest of his collegiate career. Interesting change. Wonder how that'll affect his offensive output. So he fouls one off there. Again into the parking lot. Luckily, we've got those two guys out there, so they'll scoop up another one.
We should just leave him out there.
I mean, like, well-oiled machine. You gotta have someone out there. Maybe get some cardio in, running back and forth too.
Payoff pitch number 2, fouled down the third baseline, and we'll do it for a third time.
Cooper Smith does kind of fit the stature of an outfielder a little bit more than a first baseman. Stands at 5'11", 190, but all sports are becoming increasingly positionless, I would say. So we'll see if he can field a good first base.
I think that's especially the case in D3, where so many players especially come up to the mound that are definitely not pitchers, but choose to pitch anyway for an inning or two. Almost everybody on this Brandeis roster at some point has pitched an inning. A lot of the players in the Tufts roster that are not freshmen, obviously, have pitched maybe an inning or two. Not a ton, but definitely a more common thing in D3.
Now we get to see what the offensive approach is under Brian Stark. A year ago, under Svagdis, with someone like Henry Fleckner up at bat, we would have likely seen a small ball approach here with Fleckner's speed. We'll see if we see the same. Well, it doesn't matter because he hits that one too short. Can it be a 4.63? No, Fleckner beats it out.
That's something that just really stings as a hitter. Barrel one up the middle. Looked like the shortstop for Brandeis was maybe shading a little bit towards the second base bag. Fleckner does a nice job burning it down the line. This is a guy that had 25 stolen bases in 2023 and 19 last season, so he's not an easy guy to double off. But still, I'm sure he's trotting back to the dugout a little frustrated that he caught barrel and ended up bouncing into a fielder's choice.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Matt. 25 stolen bases 2 years ago, 19 last year, and you get the feeling that Eddie Zenor knows it.
Yeah, with the pickoff there, I mean, it cost us an out, but otherwise a nice trade to swap a guy with 25 stolen bases versus a guy that just had 5 last season. So we'll see if Fleckner tries to run over there.
McKiernan takes ball 1 low.
Seeing Zenor take a peek into the dugout. Last couple calls, maybe feels like he's getting squeezed a little bit.
That one way upstairs. We'll see in the 2-0 if he decides to put one over the plate. Allow McKiernan to hit. Sent straight up. Could be trouble here. And falling, but catching it, there is Walsh.
Yeah, you know, a perk of the Medford gray that never goes away here in the sky. The balls tend to blend in just a little bit.
Yeah, we can actually take a look at that. As you see, Walsh have his fun trying to find that ball in the Medford gray. Not a fun job. Connor Brawla steps in here. We'll see if they send Fleckner now with 2 outs.
Once again, mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but Brawla is a guy that we'll be watching excitedly this season. He stands at 6'1", 210 and is expected to do a good bit of the catching, at least while Malcolm Whitfield is out with injury. He started just 7 games last year.
Fleckner goes.
He's caught, but they didn't throw it?
Got a really good jump on that pickoff, but it looked like they were still going to have him and then just didn't have a guy covering second in time, and Fleckner's able to slide in head first without a throw.
Well, you talked about well-oiled machines. It seems like Brandeis needs to oil their pickoff moves a little bit more because they were not on the same page, and you don't want to give Henry Fleckner extra opportunities on the base paths.
Yeah, if there's anybody you don't want to give that chance to, it is Henry Fleckner.
And it looks like Brawl is going to make them pay. That one into right field. Fleckner flying around. He will be sent and score. And just like that, the Jumbos have the lead.
Connor Brawla picking up right where he left off from his 2024 campaign. Brian Stark with a nice, though not particularly difficult send, plating his first run as the skipper of this Jumbos team. Nice to see the Jumbos get on the board with their first hit and run of the season all in one play.
And I don't know if I've ever, in all my years calling baseball, seen a mistake lead to a run quite as explicitly as it did there. The next pitch, Connor Brawla makes them pay for letting Fleckner get to second base. Up now is the grad student Ozzy Fleischer.
Fleischer, a captain of this ball club, stands at 5'9", 175, plays an impeccable defensive shortstop. Last year in his senior season, slashed 308, 377, 408, with 2 homers and 25 RBIs. So definitely a pretty potent weapon to have slotted in the 7-hole in this lineup.
Definitely, and I think it really speaks to the Jumbo's depth that you have Fleischer, McCullough as your 8-9. And Fleischer can't get around that one. Zenor gets out of it, but not before the Jumbos strike first. After 2, Jumbos lead 1-0. Welcome back here to Medford. Top 3, and it'll be the 7, 8, and or excuse me, 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the judges here. Danny Tambashia gonna lead things off. And that one catches the does not catch, excuse me, the outside corner of the plate.
Yeah, I thought that was in too, Riley.
That one grounded right at Fleischer. Crow Hop fires to first, and Smith can't handle it. We'll see who they charge that to.
I think it's skipped in, so it's going to have to be on Fleischer, who again was the 2023 NESCAC depoy. And maybe early signs of shakiness from Cooper Smith. I mean, he's just kind of christening that position over at first base. Has been a career outfielder going into the season. So couldn't quite dig that one, but yeah, scored an error to the shortstop.
Yeah, it felt weird to see a ball hit at Ozzy Fleischer and then not see it end up in the first baseman's glove.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that throw did fall just a little bit short of the plate. Not entirely on the fault of Fleischer, or I guess on the fault of Smith.
Now batting here for the judges, Mano Butsutakis.
Mono Butsutakis, a sophomore this year.
The 1-0 will not come because they might have had him.
Ooh.
Good pickoff move there from Christian.
Man, Christian put it right on the bag there. Cooper did a nice job applying the tag. Bang, bang play. Just barely slid his hand in there.
Yeah, I think that's some of that adjusting to first base you were talking about. Didn't look like Smith got him cleanly on the first attempt of the tag. And now an advantage for the judges as Christian's already made 2 moves towards first base in this at-bat, so he can't make a third. If it's not successful, it would give the runner second base.
Butsutakis last season had only 2 appearances, 3 at-bats against Tufts, and at-bat against Springfield. Went hitless in all of them, and then this season started against Oglethorpe twice. Sewanee and Amherst has had 14 ABs and 4 hits.
Late swing on the 1-1 puts him down 1-2. See if Christian can pick up where he left off in the second with another K. But he's going to throw over to first.
Christian seeming to rely on Smith, seeming confident he can get Tambasha out.
Now looks home. Fires the 1-2. Chopped foul down the third baseline.
Nice change of pace there. Had Boutsakakis way out in front, just barely. Little cue shot down the third baseline, foul.
So you change the pace, Matt. Now do you change the eye level? Go with a fastball up or down?
Yeah, I think a little fastball up could be a good way to work off of that outside slider. We'll see what they go with.
The 1-2 is a fastball inside, and it missed the strike zone.
So he does go heater. Now they've got a 2-2 count. Lots of different ways you could go. He's been winning with that fastball. Slight shades of Craig Kimbrell very subtly in the way he holds his arm out as he reads the sign.
The 2-2 down the first baseline might be a play for Smith towards the bullpen, but can't quite get to it.
Retrospectively, that Kimbrell comp may have been a bit of a stretch. He just kind of loosely hangs the arm out there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's full, like, chicken wing Kimbrell-esque.
Yeah. He's still figuring out his style, just a freshman.
Pitch count climbing a little bit here. Already thrown 10 in this inning. 2-2. Just downstairs. Jumbo's bench thought it was strike three. Throws over. Did he get him? Yes, he did. A diving play by Cooper Smith gets the pickoff.
Man, that was the fourth time he went over there at Tambasha over at first base, and fourth time's the charm, finally gets him. Boutsakakis working a nice AB here, full count. This is a guy with an average in the 200s, but an on-base in the 4s, so he definitely works some walks.
And that is the outside corner. A big-time delivery from Emmett Christian.
Yeah, perfectly painted fastball there. Boutsakakis didn't like it, but pretty much a perfect pickoff to strike three combo for Christian. Maturely getting out of what wasn't a jam, but always nice to go from one on, nobody out to bases empty with two down, as we now have the top of the order coming up.
And after that, a little bit of a sign of the positional inexperience from the Jumbos. Sprawl went to throw it around the horn and ended up almost at the right field pole. Back to the top and Connor Crowley as the judges looking for their first hit of the day. That one bounced on home plate for ball number one. And looked for a second like Crowley got hit, but it just kicked off the other side of the plate for ball two. That one is a strike. It'll run the count 2-2.
Eagerly looking on from the stands near the Brandeis dugout is Scott Jamesi, captain of the men's basketball team. They've got a playoff game coming up on Friday afternoon against Yeshiva University.
2-2 fouled back. Just getting a piece of it is Crowley.
Crowley keeps himself alive, trying to change the script. No hit, obviously, in the first inning.
Christian trying to keep his script picture perfect through 3. 2-2. Swung on and missed. 4 Ks, no hits through 3 from Emmett Christian. And what a start, Nick.
Yeah, spectacular from Emmett Christian, proving his value, proving why he got the starting nod.
We're going to step aside momentarily. We'll be back with you in the bottom of the 3rd. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here. Bottom of the 3rd will be Jesse McCullough, Ben Leonard, and Max Pavlik for the Jumbos here in the 3rd frame. This is where they really broke it open a year ago, scoring 10 runs in the 3rd in the opener. That one upstairs to McCullough. Zenor starting to work rather quickly. And catches the strike zone there for strike 1.
McCullough, an astronomy major, something that sticks out in the bio. Usually reading through these, you get a heavy dose of econ, computer science.
That one hit high. And looking for it and eventually finding it out there is Freed. Had to use the telescope to catch it in the Midford sky, but 1 down.
Didn't quite put it into orbit, if you will, Riley. So we can play on the astronomy puns all season long.
2 for 2 so far. Ben Leonard, 0 for 1 on the day, steps in.
Yeah, we got to save him for the rest of the season because need that whenever he actually puts one over the fence.
Lots of good puns with the judges, too, of course.
The 0-1 now to Leonard. Looked pretty good, but apparently missed outside. Zenor looks in, gets the sign. 1-1. Same spot, same result. You can start to see a little bit in the body language, some frustration with the strike zone from Eddie Zenor. 2-1 foul back.
Healthy hack there. Looked like Leonard was right on it.
See what Zenor goes to, looking for his first K of the day. Two. Downstairs, we're on the count full. Payoff pitch. I don't quite know how that was not strike 3.
Eddie Zaynor drops, looking pretty frustrated with that, obviously.
I mean, everyone will tell you that I'm a homer, but even I knew that was strike three. But what's important right now for the judges is that they can't let Zenor get the strike zone in his head. He has to just continue to do what he's been doing, which is be remarkably efficient, with one real exception being Henry Fleckner through 2+ innings.
And it's good experienced leadership from head coach Derek Carlson to go out there and settle down his pitcher and also three hitter who they really need to stay poised and composed through the rest of this ball game. So they'll go out and probably just chat about it a little bit and cool them off. Don't want to get on the umpire's bad side in just the third frame of the game.
That's a distinguishing factor that makes Zaynor so much more important than your average pitcher, because once you get rid of him as a pitcher, you then lose him as a hitter today.
Yeah, it's a
which
great point.
means you really want him to be able to stay in as long as possible, preferably through at least the third time his spot comes up in the order. Carlson's message either did or didn't get through. Zaynor having a walk to think about it, as Pavlik will step into the box.
Pavlik's father played golf at Northwestern, so comes from an athletic family. So he takes a couple healthy practice hacks.
Think those skills transfer over?
I'd a
For
coach
a
it.
run derby, maybe.
Like
Sends
some
that
of
one
those
to
like
the net.
shoestring off-speed pitches. You really kind of have to golf at. Generally, you want to take a level swing, but sometimes you sort of drop that barrel plane and take a golf-esque swing. So hopefully his father helped him with that.
Could have done it there, but instead laid off it for ball one. That one, again, misses outside.
Yeah, it looks like Zaynor's trying to find that top outside corner and just not finding it right now. As we mentioned, strike zone conversation proving important. Finds one there, though.
2-2 now.
After that mound visit from Coach Carlson, they do have a guy out there warming in the pen.
That one hit well to left center, but it's going to hang up. Aaron Wall will camp under it for out number 2. Good piece there from the sophomore, but we were talking with some of the players pregame about the wind here. And the one thing that's always consistent at Gittleman is that that wind comes in with the cross breeze from left field out to right. And you could see it there, just knock that ball down. Going here is Leonard. Will they get him this time? Yes, they will. They couldn't do it with Fleckner in the second, but Ben Leonard gets caught down trying to take second. And a 1-2-3 inning the unconventional way for the judges. Welcome back here. Top four between the judges and the Jumbos. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for Brandeis, leading off Ben Cujo, their third baseman, who had to do a little bit of limbo to get out of the way of that one. The 1-0 catches the outside corner, 4-strike 1.
Ben Kuja from Madison, Connecticut. Captain in high school, 4-year starter.
And Christian wanted that. You could read it on his lips all the way from the press box that he thought that was strike 2, but our friend Mike behind the plate said ball. And Connor Brawla wanted to change out balls. I'm not quite sure why, but it looks like it might have had a glove problem there.
Yeah, it looks like he's strapped on a new mitt. Not sure if the pocket or the lace broke, but does so quickly as to not mess up his freshman pitcher's rhythm.
And he gets another nice easy ground ball. Smith takes it himself.
Sure-handed play over at first by Cooper Smith.
Yeah, Cooper Smith there looked to maybe throw that one to Christian and then decided, no, it's all good. Steps on the bag for the first out of the Jumbos.
Zenor now will step in 0 for 1, like all of his judges' teammates on the day, trying to help himself out on the mound. And first pitch, slider in there, 4-strike 1.
One thing you wonder with these two-way guys is whether they can separate their offensive performance from their performance on the mound. A huge aspect of stepping in the batter's box is doing it with confidence. And not that Zenor is particularly getting hit around in this contest thus far, but it's just a difficult thing to do mentally as a two-way player.
It's a great point, Matt. So he's doing a good job sensing the strike zone right now. I guess that does give him a little bit of an advantage in that he has seen the strike zone for about 50 pitches now today. He has a pretty good sense of what is and isn't a strike in today's game.
It's a good point, Riley. And he's seen the strike zone with mild frustration at times.
Seen the strike zone, maybe seen what he thought was the strike zone too, I'm sure.
Well, he's seeing the strike zone well right now. He's worked the count to 3-1. The 3-1 from Christian. That time is a strike. As maybe Zenor doesn't know the strike zone as well as he thought. He was getting ready to toss the bat.
That one goes top corner for Christian, and he finds it to make the count full.
Payoff pitch between the pitchers is inside. No doubt about that one. Zenor works the walk. And the heart of the judges' order has a runner on as Aaron Wald steps in. Christian looks in. Off speed in there. And something I'm noticing, Nick, is there definitely seems to be about 3 or 4 miles an hour less on his pitches this inning than there were in the previous ones.
Yeah, they definitely look to be coming in a little slower, but could also be that he's just trying to place them a little more perfectly and trying to find the strike zone. Obviously not entirely the case against Zaynor there, so maybe changing something up.
There is a body, I can't get a number, warming up in the jumbo pen now. The 1-1 catches the inside corner for strike 2.
Man, Riley, Nick, maybe he's taking a little bit off of it, but from up here, you can see those tight sliders just taking a left-hand turn. I mean, they're starting right at those right-handed batters' left shoulder and breaking in. A couple uncomfortable-looking takes in this at-bat.
That time up the middle, diving play, but he can't quite grab it, is McCullough. And the first hit for the judges of the day almost took Christian out and has 2 on with 1 out.
Yeah, pure barrel there from Henry Ehrenwald. Not fooled at all. Sits on it and just smacks one right back up the middle. The judges have first and second now with 1 out.
And a real opportunity here for the judges. Freed to the plate in a 1-0 game. The grad student with a chance to finally get some redemption on the judges who have on the Jumbos who have beat him 5 times in his career.
You mentioned the player warming up in the bullpen. It is number 25, Grant Strother, sophomore from Salem, Oregon.
And as you mentioned that, don't know if Christian knows it yet, but out to have a visit is the pitching coach.
Yeah, with Strother going in the pen, we'll probably get a sense. One of our first insights into Coach Brian Stark's paradigm as it relates to pitching decisions, whether he's going to keep his freshman on a pretty tight leash here as he gets into his first real jam of the game. He's been throwing well, has 4 Ks, but now he's got 2 ducks on the pond with only 1 out.
And I think maybe you can disagree with me, Nick, but I think you got to give confidence in your freshman the way he's been pitching for multiple reasons. A, he's looked borderline unstoppable outside of this 4th inning. And B, what you want to do, especially with freshmen, is develop their confidence early on. And saying the second you get into trouble, I'm going to pull you, isn't going to do that.
No, definitely true. And also, a lot of these guys, while they haven't necessarily played at a collegiate level, have thrown a lot of pitches in high school. So
That could be trouble. Fleischer reads it like a book for out number 1.
they definitely will know that as, they might get into trouble just a little bit. It's obviously not the end of the world for them.
And a big second out recorded for Christian. Now will be Keith Lee, his fellow freshman, the Brandeis catcher. Lee drew a walk first time up.
And that out is crucial also because it can change the defensive alignment a little bit for the Jumbos. Now with forces everywhere and 2 outs, playing on turf especially, these guys can kind of hang back at the back of the infield, give themselves some more time. They have forces at every base.
Lee rolls over on that one, sends it foul. That was pitch number 60 from Emmett Christian.
Matt, any expectations on how many pitches Christian might throw today before coaches start to pull him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long they'll let him go. With the guy warming in the pen, this may be his last inning, regardless of its outcome. But again, throwing really well, 4 Ks, only conceded 1 hit, did give up a couple walks. But I would imagine this is his final frame, even if he gets out of it cleanly. Also hard to have a guy get warm and then get cold in this type of weather. So once they get a guy going in the pen, I'd imagine they'd like to get him in the game.
2-1 now the count to Lee. On deck is Walsh. Should it get there? Christian gets set. 2-1 home. He's on the corner for strike 2. Much to the chagrin of Lee.
Yeah, Lee doesn't like that inside strike call, but he's tied up on that inside line of the righty batter's box. And so that inside pitch seems tight to him, but painted right on the black, and Brala sticks it.
The 2-2. Grounded to McCullough. He'll flip to Fleischer, and Christian escapes the jam.
Fire me up, Emmett Christian. If this is his last inning, what a debut to a collegiate career. 4 innings, only concedes 1 hit with 4 Ks and a pair of walks. Great outing for Emmett Christian. We'll go to a break.
Welcome back here to Medford. Bottom of the fourth, it'll be 3, 4, and 5 for the Jumbos, Henshin, Smith, and Fleckner, facing off against Zenor in his fourth inning of work.
Henshin had some extra time to think about this at bat. He came to the plate but didn't see a pitch in his second AB last inning because of that pickoff.
I think he was tired of waiting, swings at that one and sends it into the cars. Zenor, who looks pretty comfortable out there, puts that one inside for ball one. Up to 46 pitches on the day is the junior. And wanted that one, but did not get it, Nick.
Yeah, that one looked to drop just a little below the strike zone. Was almost a dangerous pitch.
The 2-1. Pretty good pitch to swing at, but Henshin late on it, and it'll run 2-2.
In this AB, we've seen the green line and then the commuter purple line whiz by. Wonder how far someone would have to hit it to put it out on the tracks there and right.
Actually know it because I've seen it once as Henshin sends that one into right field for a base hit. But to answer your question, Matt, it's about 410 feet to the green line.
Wow.
I'm impressed, Riley, that you know that.
It's a good call, Riley. And as we're talking about trains, Henshin has just picked up his first collegiate hit. Not sure if they tossed that ball into the dugout, but he'll throw it up on the bookshelf as a symbolic memory, whether it's that ball or not. It's a big moment for the freshman.
In comes Cooper Smith.
That one, almost an E-fist thrown in there by Zenor. The 0-1 outside, and Zenor very frustrated, getting to the point where every pitch he does not like the call of, he's having some words underneath the glove to his catcher. That one hit to third, could be 2, 5, 4, they will not get 3. Henshin with a really nice legal slide there. And Matt, obviously something that you have to really focus on now in today's baseball is that slide into second base, because so easy to get called for interference when they're trying to turn a double play.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some pretty famous instances over the year that were cause for some rule change at the professional level. And we've seen that trickle down through all levels of collegiate play.
And I believe a balk was called on Zenor. Did not see anything. And that'll mean the count is zeros with the runner on second base in Smith.
Just compounding the frustration between the zone and a bit of a ticky-tack balk call, maybe.
Last time he was up, Fleckner took advantage of a judge's base running mistake to get himself to score. Can he bring in a runner this time?
Off the freshman goes to go get that ball.
Fleckner took quite a hack, but couldn't do anything with it. Looks in, delivers the 0-2, and Fleckner's not going to swing at that one.
Yeah, Fleckner's a disciplined hitter. This is a guy who slashed 353, 428, 477 last year, and has just been continually building on improvement year after year. Also stole 19 bags. So, an all-around five-tool player the Jumbos have.
Count at twos right now after that pitch.
That one tipped back by Fleckner to stay alive. Discussion looks to be a friendly one between Keith Lee and our friend Mike behind the plate as he hands him a new ball. The 2-2. Bounced in there and it'll run the count full. Payoff pitch here to Fleckner. Sonora gets set. Puts it in the zone and Fleckner sends it backwards. Payoff pitch number 2. Could be a play down the right field line. Ranging over for it, but once again going to end up in the bullpen. And Fleckner, after going down 0-2, is going to see pitch number 8 in this at-bat.
Yeah, Fleckner doing a good job of just keeping himself alive and seeing if he can obviously get on base. Ideally to bring Cooper Smith home or at least closer to scoring position.
But he can't because he went chasing on the high fastball.
Yeah, we commended the fight of Fleckner there, but really good battle also from Zenor. Able to look like he reached back a little bit more on that one and pumped in some high cheese to blow up by him.
Lee McKiernan with the opportunity to knock in the duck on the pond with 2 down.
Good little get me over off speed pitch to kick off this at bat to Owen McKieran. McKieran is setting up a whole family of Tufts students. He had 2 sisters who both graduated from here.
That one goes foul, or not foul, I guess, outside the strike zone. McKiernan does a good job at not swinging.
The 1-1. Baited him and he didn't swing. It'll run the count 1-2.
Zaynor got Fleckner chasing with that higher pitch, seeing if he can get McKiernan to do the same. At the moment, the answer is no, as the count is 1-2.
Similar spot, different result. Just a little bit outside. The 2-2. Almost hit him. Fast feet there from McKiernan will run the count full.
That was impressive. I think he moved his back leg out of the way. That was impressive.
Would not have felt good to eat that heater off the back right shin.
No, it would not. Swings on that one. That one goes behind us.
Jumbo's making Zenor work here. This will be his 20th pitch of the inning coming up.
And I think the impact of that, Riley, cannot be understated. Despite no runs this inning, like you mentioned, running up that pitch count. He's up in the 60s now. Started this inning in the low 40s.
That one hit high into center. Crowley over. Instead, it'll go to Frieden right. And once again, a pitcher puts runners on, but survives. The Brandeis bench loving it after 4, 1-0 Jumbos. Welcome back here to Medford. Grant Strother on the mound here to start the fifth. Nick, what can you tell us about the sophomore from Oregon?
Yeah, as I mentioned, played in 4 games in 2024, pitched a 4.05 ERA, had 6 strikes, and then as well in high school was what we might call an academic weapon, was valedictorian, and then also a two-sport standout for the Olympians, as well, of course, as being a weapon on the baseball field, getting recruited to a collegiate level here at Tufts, and now hoping to make an impact at the jumbo level in the season opener.
Did a weapons company pay you like for academic weapon is a choice? I mean, Matt, just what a performance from the freshman in his first collegiate debut there from Christian.
Yeah, super impressive and exciting stuff from Emmett Christian. Again, he goes 4 innings with 4 Ks, works himself into a tiny bit of a jam in that fourth frame, but is able to get out of it. No harm, no foul. Really impressive stuff. Nice to see him work confidently with nobody on, and even more impressive to see him overcome some adversity. So I'm guessing Coach Brian Stark is going to be excited to utilize him a little bit more going forward. And also excited that he could get some good innings as the Jumbos have a couple big games coming up this weekend. So good to get some depth out of that young freshman.
It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for Brandeis in the fifth as Walsh swings and misses at strike one.
Interesting. Looked like he was way out in front of what to me looked like a fastball. So maybe gearing up for something, maybe he thought Strother out a little bit more.
Was behind that fastball and quickly Strother's ahead 2-0.
Dylan Walsh, obviously today not on base yet. Looks to change that here against Grant Strother.
Grounded to Fleischer. This time he gets enough on it to Smith for out number one.
Yeah, that one goes to the right height of Smith. Smith easy and calm in the collection of that to knock out Dylan Walsh, giving Grant Strother an out.
Quick out number one for Strother. Danny Tambascia going to step back up for his second look. This time at a new pitcher. The 1-0 flared into left field, right at Ben Leonard, 2 down.
Leonard, nice job sticking with that one. Kind of a little jam shot tailing towards the left field line with that wind as well, blowing towards the left side. So that ball moved a lot right to left from our direction, and Leonard does a nice job camping under it, making the play confidently.
Milo Bustakakis now up as Strother looks to get a 1-2-3 inning here.
Yeah, that would be a great start for Strother if he can strike out Mono Butsukakas here and prove also definitely that he might be able to play a more consistent role on the team this season.
Wind definitely starting to become a factor now. You can see it rustling the net behind home plate. Two nothing. Is chopped to McCullough. Fires to first and a 1-2-3 for Grant Strother. That's about as fast as you can do a half inning. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Bottom five, halfway through this one. Low scoring, 1-0. Only 5 runners have reached base on the day. One of them was Connor Bralla, who drove home the only run of the day. That was Henry Fleckner back in the second.
What a contrast from last year's matchup for the judges. The ruling on the field right now, still unsure who could come home with this game. Last year, the ruling was very much sealed and done by that fourth inning.
It's what you'd like to call a unanimous ruling.
True enough, true enough.
Quickly 0-2 on Bralla from Zenor. The southpaw up to 70 pitches on the day. Number 71 will end up joining our several friends in the parking lot.
I mean, you got to think those players at this point are getting a workout in, running back and forth.
I do wonder, with the women's lacrosse team winning the way they're winning right now, if that goes to running clock, will the freshmen here do more running than some of the players on the women's lacrosse team today?
That seems like a good bet. I mean, currently the score is 7-0 from what we can tell, if anybody is also trying to follow that matchup.
Well, Bralla tried to follow that pitch and could not find it.
Yeah, really nice change of speeds there from Zenor. Pretty much textbook for a two-strike changeup. Down in the zone, induces a chase, and sits down Bralla for the first out of the bottom of the fifth.
Ozzie Fleischer will step up here in the 8th spot today. Not a spot we're typically used to seeing him. Shows bunt, lays it down. That's going to stay fair.
Beauty.
And a beauty. Sometimes when the swings aren't working, you got to play a little bit of small ball, and that's what Ozzie Fleischer did there.
That's just veteran execution from Ozzie Fleischer. This is a guy who is an incredible hitter. He started all 41 games for the Jumbos last year. He's a captain of this team. He slugged .408, and still he recognizes an opportune moment to lay down a bunt and has an easy single with basically no play over at first.
Must be said out Ozzie Fleischer. He's a little bit of a superstitious baseball player. Before every game, puts on his left sock, then his left shoe, and then his right sock, then his right shoe. Doesn't go sock, sock, shoe, shoe.
That's an interesting one. I've heard of superstitions, but that's one I haven't heard of before. I don't know. I just feel like that process isn't morally correct.
Well, you can always ask Ozzie about it. Does it before every game.
Pitch 1 to Jesse McCullough is fouled back.
Interesting taking a peek at how Jesse McCullough stands in the righty batter's box. He has a uniquely closed stance. Some notable guys that do that in the bigs. Giancarlo Stanton is the first one that comes to mind, but usually you see guys either true or a little open, but his left foot's in front. His left foot is closer to the plate than his back foot is, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think that kind of speaks to the type of hitter McCullough is. He's very much a contact hitter. He's looking to get himself on base. Not much of a power hitter, but he's real fast, real scrappy, and if he gets on base, look out because he can run. That one chopped down the third base line, but it's going to roll foul.
And Riley, he's found a formula that works. In 38 games last year, he hit for a .310 average with a .420 on base, had 13 extra base hits and 21 RBIs. So this closed stance is definitely working for the junior infielder out of Sudbury, Massachusetts.
Actually had the privilege of playing against Jesse McCullough in high school, and the kid, even then, just found a way to get on base. A delayed steal from Fleischer, and he's going to get it.
Maybe an error there for Brandeis. That pitch goes a little left, but I don't think a declared one. The pitch, obviously, or that toss, I guess, from Keith Lee going just left of Boutsakakis. Or
That one's going to end up in the parking lot yet again, and it really seems like a message was sent from Brian Stark in between the top and bottom of this inning that the Jumbos want to play a little bit of small ball.
It's just about as gritty as it gets to see a graduate student who's a captain of this team lay down a bunt single and then delayed steal. I mean, that's just beautiful textbook baseball that has kind of been lost in the contemporary era of the game. And Ozzie Fleischer is bringing it back and is now finding himself in scoring position on second base with 1 out. Let's see if Jesse McCullough can bring him in for his first RBI of the season.
Living up to your old head reputation, Matthew.
I appreciate the fine things in baseball. And some of the new era flash as well. I mean, take a look at these jumbo uniforms. I'm a big fan of the baby blue, the stirrups that these guys have on.
No, it's definitely a significant improvement from what it was 3 years ago when I was a freshman. This one looks nice, which is more than could be said 3 years ago.
Interesting to take a look at some of the bats that these guys are using. It's obviously metal bats in college baseball, but an interesting combination. Some guys go to the one-piece alloys, some more the two-piece composite route. One-piece alloy definitely ringing up the hands a little more in this cold weather, but each guy has their preferences.
Loft